A little boy was accidentally hit by a car and killed. 4 days after he was buried, he turned up at his home. The police thought that the mother couldn't accept the death of her child. She dug the child out of the grave, but looking at the muddy footprints on the ground, the coroner thought it might not be that simple. They asked Juan, "Did anything strange happen recently?" Juan remembered his neighbor Jano. Upon hearing Jano's name, the trio had a strange look on their faces. It turns out that during this period of time, Jano's house has been full of strange things. In corners he couldn't see, there are always monsters flashing by. He originally wanted to hide in bed and pretend he couldn't see, but to his despair, through the sheets, a pair of strange hands were approaching. The next day, everything was quiet. Jano was safe, but the room was a mess. He asked Mora for help, but he needed evidence of something dirty in the house. So Jano bought a camera. That night he set it up on the cupboard in front of the window. I don't know how long it took. Jano was awakened by the sound of the camera falling. Suddenly he saw a strange shadow. Jano scrambled to turn on the light. The shadow disappeared in an instant. So he immediately picked up the camera to check. He saw a monster crawling out from under the bed. The monster kept staring at him and finally went into the closet. Just then, the closet behind him opened. The next day, the neighbor's kid came to the yard to pick up a ball. He wanted a drink of water before leaving, but Jano stopped him. The boy got scared. When he came to the street, a bus appeared. The boy was dead. Soon after, the coroner got a call. The boy who had been buried 4 days earlier had returned. Police believe the boy's mother dug up the body. When the coroner saw the boy's worn fingers and fresh footprints on the ground, they deduced that the boy had crawled out on his own. While they were talking, the milk on the table was suddenly knocked over. The coroner realized the seriousness of the problem and invited Mora to assist in the investigation. At the same time, a neighbor's child saw the boy and knocked on the window. A scream rang out. The coroner realized that someone had found the boy. So as not to cause a panic, they hid the boy in the refrigerator. They'll move him when Comisario finds a new cemetery. In order to get to the bottom of this, they decided to split up. At night, Comisario took his assistant to the kitchen, discovered that the cutlery was adsorbed onto the cabinet. The assistant was stabbed through the palm of his hand. Blood was slowly trickling down into the closet. Comisario drew his weapon to keep watch. When the closet was opened, a mysterious force suddenly leapt out. That's when the coroner called from next door. He saw a strange figure in the house. The figure was very strange. It could only be seen through the glass. There was a scream. The coroner didn't move again. Comisario panicked. He ran next door to look for the coroner, but the coroner had disappeared. All that was left was broken glass. Then a moan came from the closet behind him. Comisario found the coroner, discovered a forensic doctor with eyes full of glass, and then the boy's mother appeared, her hands covered in blood and dirt. Comisario begged her to take him to the hospital. The woman agreed, but as she was about to get into the car, Comisario realized that the dead boy was in the car. He immediately got into his car to escape. That's when Mora came out. Comisario hit the gas and took off, but he didn't have long to stop. He eventually returned to the boy's house with 2 barrels of gasoline. After emptying all the gasoline, he was ready to run outside and start a fire, but no matter what he did, the matches were always blown out by the wind. It was the coroner. Comisario was so scared, he pulled out his pistol and shot it on the ground. Sparks ignited the whole house in an instant. In the midst of the flames, everything went quiet.